Well, welcome to the Moving Picture Studio. We're here with Rob Lowe and Thomas Jane for I Melt With You. Firstly, congratulations on the film and the fact that it got sold today. Big news ahead of the screening tonight as well. What does it mean to have the film accepted into Sundance and come up here when it seems like it was such a personal project that you guys were all able to pitch in on?
Well, it's I think the perfect Sundance movie because it harkens back to what Sundance originally was and continues to be, which is celebrating provocative movies that don't necessarily fit in the marketplace. There was a home for them, and that place was Sundance.
Independent spirit.
It's independent, and that's what this movie is. This movie is meant to be provocative. It's meant to be divisive. It's meant to have people who love it and hate it. It's meant to provoke talk in a time when movies every year are safer and safer and safer.
True.
Thomas, I mean, you're wearing the hat with the Union Jack on it. Johnny Rotten comes in and out of the film at certain times.
There's a punk rock romance to the movie that attracted me from the very beginning, being an old punk rocker. And I bought this. I've had this hat for years. I bought it in Little Tokyo, and I wore it in honor of our little punk rock romantic guy movie.
And you wear it well.
Obviously, Mark's a big music guy. How much of that music and that imagery that comes with his territory did you know was going to be in this film?
Well, we played the music while we were filming, so we had music going all the time, and it really, got us into the spirit. I know Rob used to listen to a lot of that stuff. I did too, a lot of the new wave type stuff and the post-punk stuff from the early 80s and all, that's, to tell you the truth, all the great music that's remembered today as far as I'm concerned. All that stuff they were playing on the radio is gone. Yeah. But the stuff that we used to listen to is all still there, man.
Yeah, we'd crank it up, we'd start a scene, and I would be transported back to, 20 years,
It's so visceral.
Years. Oh,
music's
man.
like smells, it's so it reminds you of where you were at a place in time. It's so visceral, and it really flavored our performances.
Yeah. Did you sit down with Mark in a cafe first? Like, what was that first meeting like?
He was the first man in the pool.
Yeah, he came over to my house, and I'd read the script, and we sat and told our stories and our personal sort of relationship to the movie, and it was time to make the movie, And Mark had other movies that he was up for and big studio stuff, and I really encouraged him to put that aside and say, let's seize this moment because it might not come again, come in a year, but let's take a month and do it, and he did, because this kind of writing and this kind of story, it's getting harder and harder to find this kind of stuff.
And probably rarest of all, that you get a chance to shoot it in chronological order and actually have that development of character.
The last movie I shot in chronological order was for Francis Ford Coppola. It was The Outsiders, and it was my first movie.
Right.
Well, you're great in that, by the way. Those deleted scenes that are.
Did you see those, man?
Fucking brilliant.
Oh, thanks, man.
I mean, fucking amazing stuff.
Thank you.
It must have been heartbreaking to get that stuff taken out of the movie because you're fucking phenomenal.
Literally, I've written a memoir that's coming out in May, and one of the big set pieces in the book is me seeing The Outsiders for the first time and no one telling me that 80% of my role had been cut.
I did that. And Terry Malick did that to
Coppola and Malick. What is it with those hacks?
Yeah.
What's wrong with those
Didn't
people?
Didn't tell Adrian, and he took his family to the premiere.
And I always thought that I sucked. I thought, well, that's why they're gone. I'm terrible, clearly. And then I'm 40 years old. Francis wants to re-release the 25th anniversary of The Outsiders and put all the footage back.
It's a better movie.
And I see it, and
the movie was great,
like,
but it's a better movie.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see. I'm sorry, we've totally digressed, but thank you.